Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Cathie Wood has just sold a stock, which is a stock that a lot of you like, a stock that I finally bought, and she has bought another stock. This was her trades from yesterday on September 1st. I want to analyze these today because it's incredibly interesting to see what she's doing here, especially giving on what's in the macro. I think it's going to be at least interesting to analyze what's going on. So we have a sell of Tesla, 115,000. This is in the ARK KK Innovation Fund. So this is like the premier fund. This is the fund that manages like $40 billion or something. So ARK KK Tesla, 115,000 shares have been sold. ARK-Q, this is another fund, 16,000 shares of Tesla have been sold. And then in ARK-W, 19,000 shares of Tesla, 19,193, as you can see, have been sold. So she's made a conscious decision to start liquidating some of the Tesla in her position, and these are pretty massive positions. When we've seen her sell Tesla before, it usually goes around like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 shares. When you're selling 115 grand of Tesla, Tesla's it's a lot of Tesla, you know? At the end of the day that she's selling. So here, what did she buy that was interesting? Now, there's a lot of stuff she bought. She bought another 1.95 million shares of Ginkgo Bioworks. I am getting very close to making a probably $2,000 purchase in Ginkgo Bioworks. I'm getting really excited about them. So I'll probably make some videos more in the future about that. But the stock that she bought that was really interesting to me is Nvidia. So 226,000 shares of Nvidia in the ARK KK Innovation Fund. 32,000 shares of Nvidia in the ARK-Q fund, and 39,000 shares of Nvidia in the ARK-W fund. Now, the question I was asking when I saw this last night is, why is she getting rid of Tesla for Nvidia? Particularly because Nvidia's earnings were not the best, and we're about to just show you the stock price as I load up Webull. And they also got this like ruling from the United States that really knocked them down, which was that if you're not allowed to start selling stuff to China, essentially. And you know, that wasn't the best for Nvidia's business. Let's go to their actual, here they are right here. 136. So Nvidia's at 136. I mean, Nvidia has not been at 136 since March or May 20th, 2021. So when the United States came down, the United States just passed the CHIPS Act. A huge part of Nvidia's business is making chips for like gaming, Bitcoin mining, all this stuff. There's a lot of different things that require these chips. And the United States passed an act that allows companies to make them at home. The United States also does not want United States companies to be selling those chips to China, especially given sort of the geopolitical crisis we're having right now with China, which is obviously going to affect other companies. Nvidia took a dump, not only because they reduced their earnings guidance because things are not going as well as they were before, but also when that ruling came down, it showed how fragile their business is in relationship to some of the geopolitical things that are going on. And as you can see, Nvidia here is at 136 right now. If we go to Tesla, Tesla obviously had a split. It's at 270, was at 300 post split. So ARK liquidated around 270, 275. And so it's interesting. It's incredibly interesting to see what this is, why this is happening, and ultimately how ARK sees this kind of playing out. So a couple of thoughts that I wanted to give, and then I would love to know your thoughts and your comments as well in terms of why you see this is happening. Few things. Number one, I think ARK is seeing Nvidia as less overvalued than Tesla. Now, I do not believe Tesla is overvalued. I bought some Tesla because I think it's actually undervalued in the grand scheme of things. But if you probably look at someone like ARK that started buying it in 2016, ran it up to $1 trillion, they probably want to take some profits off the board. That makes sense. And while taking those profits off the board of a company that they believe is, if not overvalued, at least fairly valued, given its $800-900 billion or whatever it is, in this macro economy, you could imagine Tesla would be worth like $400 or $500 billion just because of the macroeconomic forces. Tesla's holding up pretty well. So if Cathie's like, okay, so we're going to get rid of some Tesla, we're going to take some profits off the table, who are we going to put that in? We're going to put it in Nvidia. Now, the weird part about that decision to me, even though you can rationalize that and make sense of it because Nvidia is a pretty good company, it's a pretty good stock, all that type of stuff, is they sold Nvidia like 4 days ago. They literally sold it when it was at like 165, 170, which I guess kind of makes sense now that you're selling it, even though they were selling it at a loss. I guess they saw there was more pain to come, and then they bought it back at an even lower price. So the thesis here is that it's hard to imagine Cathie being so dead true about this 5-year thesis, because we don't know what's going to happen to Nvidia tomorrow, or DNA. Like DNA, she has like 80 something million shares, even more. There's like 90 million shares now. And I'm like, I'm kind of excited about that. And if she starts selling it, it's just going to be super weird, because it's just like, what's going on right now? So Nvidia, to her, seems like this one stock that probably is going to be a good stock over time. And the question simply becomes, what price do you want to get it at? Now let's look at the market cap real quick of Nvidia. I believe they're at like a $500 billion market cap, or am I wrong about that? Oh no, well now they're at 340 billion. So I think that's also something that ARK's looking at. It's like, all right, if their market cap's at 340 billion and probably what? Yeah, like a couple of months ago, you were aiming towards the $400-500 billion market cap, then it's something that you could justify being able to sell it off, especially if Tesla's still doing so well at an $800-900 billion market cap. I do not own any Nvidia. I would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments on what you see about the stock. I know there's a lot of components to it when it comes to AI and semiconductors and gaming and manufacturing and all these different things. Nvidia is part of building the next wave of computing for the metaverse. I also think it's also had a massive run up already. And so the question becomes, how much further does it have to grow, which is what I think Cathie was doing when she was selling Tesla. Because she's like, how much more does Tesla have to grow? Even though we all know Tesla has a lot of room to grow, so it pisses off a lot of Tesla fans, and you know, when Cathie's selling it at these levels. But it could be indicating that she feels there's a lot more pain coming in the macroeconomy. And if there's a lot more pain coming in the macroeconomy, Tesla is not going to be immune to that. And stocks that are getting hammered down even worse than Tesla. Again, Tesla's already still at $800-900 billion market cap. It still hasn't really got hit as badly than other stocks. If other stocks are getting hit massively, then we need to free up some cash, right? We need to liquidate some dry powder to be able to buy the dip on those stocks, because those stocks in the room they have to run can be massive, right? And the potential can be insane. So seems like that's what she's doing. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have Nvidia? Do you have Tesla? Which one would you pick over the other? Do you agree with her selling? Do you agree with her buying? Love to know your thoughts. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one.